Okay, so for starters, I have the basic idea of what I'm working on my game so far. So a main menu screen, 2 levels, and if you ever die, it kicks you back to the main menu screen. I'm going to try to edge this towards there because it helps test my tool, because I want to have the tool be able to do multiple test sets, so I'm going to focus on getting the game to a full game loop state. I'm going to use the train system, like essentially put an invisible box that I hide around steep rock cliffs, and then I want to put a final state machine on the tanks, just for the extra practice and make them look a little more interesting. So, go jump into the test. I should have built this before recording. Okay, so while that's going, never mind, not while that's going. Okay, so we'll zoom way out here, and you can see the 2 ABBs. And as I get closer, it swaps to 2 B spheres, and if I get too close to that, that will swap to an OBB. If I get too close to both, now they're all OBBs. That's just the nice visualization of the occlusion system. I just like doing the lowest test possible. And then there's the occlusion test self in there. Yeah, we'll get a little close. Yep, you can see they're overlapping, they're only showing the OBBs. As they go, the OBBs are there but not overlapping, and they go back to B spheres. And then I have a stitch here, because I have my buttons. Burp. Now I can change scenes by just clicking stitch there, and you can also see the layering system at work. I can actually change which stitch is drawn on top by changing this little right here, the zenum, the layer zenum. Right now buttons are designed to go on top. So as far as like my personal project, I worked on just fully building out my UI classes to actually be real classes, like with some base classes for how the screen space is done, UI objects, yada yada. And then the buttons manager has buttons all quietly talk to this hidden singleton, who owns essentially all the, it's just a giant observer pattern. And this guy communicates with the engine about whether or not the mouse is clicked. Okay. And then the user code, UI, that's all the code it takes to make a new button. On mouse click and on mouse release. Then you gotta register and whatnot in the implementation. Collision. Commands. Test self. Boop. It's basically exactly what you would expect. I didn't do anything fancy with it. I want to eventually scooch this intersection to avoid the double B-sphere test, but that's probably for another day. And then this one is just, it looks super gross, but it's exactly what you showed us. And then all the else's for how the visualizer shows all the cool stuff. I think that's about it. Most of the work came from just digging into my UI, like cleaning that up, making base classes. So now next week I'm going to move to now taking these button classes that I finished and making a main screen button that has the stitch button that will actually start the game. And anytime you die, it'll kick you back to the main scene. So I have the first startings of a game loop. And then I'm going to have my tool be able to do repeated data like sets based on each iteration of the game loop. And then, right, fuck. I'm blanking on the third very important thing. Oh yeah. Start working on figuring out. I want to plan out how the tool displays buttons to the screen, how many it should have, how it builds them. I'll probably have one per group, I think. That's it.